Today the topic of my video is what is podcast and how it works. First of all, we will know about podcast. A podcast is a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. So let's check any website about it. A digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. It's actually a portmanteau of iPod and broadcast. Podcasting started as mostly an independent way for individuals to get their message out there and build a community of people with similar interests. That still exists, but today there are podcasts from individuals, companies, large and small, radio networks like NPR, TV networks like CNN, Fox, ESPN, etc., new podcast only networks, comedians, storytellers, chess, and a whole lot more. There is not a predetermined length, format, style, production level, or anything else. Podcasts can be broken up into seasons like a TV show. Serial is probably the most famous example of this. A weekly release for new episodes is common, but there are daily podcasts, weekly podcasts, and rarely any cadence the creator desires. These episodes are audio files that are likely stored with a podcast hosting company. Another great thing about podcasts is that you can subscribe to them, which makes it easy to get notified via your favorite podcast app when new episodes come out. You don't need to rely on radio stations for recording and broadcasting, and you can talk about anything that interests you. Want to start your own podcast? Then you can. Another website we will check about podcast works. Podcasting is the preparation and distribution of audio files using RSS feeds to the computers of subscribed users. These files may then be uploaded to streaming services which users can listen to on their smartphones or digital music and multimedia players like an iPod. A podcast can easily be created from a digital audio file. Who uses the podcasting format? Content producers have increasingly turned to podcasts as an inexpensive and user-friendly distribution channel to reach a large audience. Musicians and bloggers were early adopters of podcasts. How does podcasting work? Podcasts are digital audio content distributed over the internet using a podcast hosting service. These services store all podcast episodes in one location and automate the generation of RSS feeds. These feeds list all the podcasters' episodes. Following are some examples of podcast hosting platforms: Buzzsprout, Podbean, podcast websites, Simplecast, Speakers. A podcast directory is an application that listeners can use to search for, store, and listen to podcasts. When listeners subscribe to a podcast, their RSS feed automatically updates their device with new episodes. Some examples are following: Apple Podcasts, Blueberry Podcasting, Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, Tunnelin. How to create a podcast? Many ways to create a new podcast. The following podcasting equipment and components are needed to record an audio file. Podcast microphone. USB microphones are relatively cheap and easy to use to capture audio. Recording application. Many devices come with free audio recording applications such as Apple's Voice Memos app to record and save audio. Hosting site. Once recorded, a podcast can be distributed using a podcast distribution platform such as Podbean, podcast website, or Speaker. Here are the 9 steps to record a podcast using a Windows computer and a USB microphone. Plug the microphone into the computer's USB port. Install the free Audacity program or another digital audio application. Open the program and set the audio input to recognize the audio from the microphone. Test the microphone to ensure the levels and appropriate the responding to audio in the room. Press the record button and speak to start recording the intro. If necessary, edit the podcast afterward. Using the digital audio programs built in tools or an application like Adobe Audition, export the audio file using the digital audio programs export function. Upload the audio file to an audio sharing platform such as SoundCloud. You can also use a podcast specific platform like Podbean or Spreaker. They help with hosting and podcast promotion. And number 9 is share the link to the published podcast on social media and elsewhere to attract listeners. Benefits of podcasting: easy to create, easy to distribute, and regulation free, long form, informative, on demand, valuable marketing tool. So guys, you can also start podcasting. See